Hello my friends, I'm Rich Larson and I'm the IRC Tire Guy. Today we've got another Pro versus Joe episode featuring Adam Does Dirt Bikes and our Pro IRC athlete James Flynn. It's been a lot of fun watching these guys go through some of these sections at the Donner Hard Enduro. And this is a famous section, kind of a main boulder field that's right at the bottom of the ski slope, right at the beginning of the race. And we see a lot of common mistakes from Adam in this one. This is a super eye-opening episode for you amateur riders. And yeah, let's get right into it. I hope you guys enjoy this one.
So what makes this section tricky is that there's a lot of holes that you could fall into in this boulder field. And if you fall in the hole, you get stuck, you use up energy, and you waste time.
Okay, so this is like a main section that we saw. James through here. Look at James. Okay, so first off, right off the bat, you can see he's picking the high line every time. And this is another thing. We see the amateur riders go for the gaps, whereas the pros, they stay on top. You got to learn how to stay on top of rocks. He's really just trying to stay light, keeping that pressure on the peg. It's so important. Hips back here, not super steep. I mean, this is probably slightly uphill. I've been here before, so it is uphill. But that being said, he's keeping all the weight on the peg and just picking. You can see he's dabbing to the right, dabbing to the left, picking the high spots to dab, and really always focusing on pressuring the peg the entire time, as well as staying on the high line, staying on those big rocks. Oh yeah, and see that again. I mean, riding the rear wheel. I mean, simply put, it's like if you can go from one wheel touching the ground compared to two, one wheel is going to be more efficient, especially if that rear wheel is where all your traction's coming from, right? So he's keeping that front end super light and trying to wheelie as much as he can. The way he does that is keep those feet on the pegs or keep at least 1 foot on the peg, weighting the peg, and really picking the high lines and finding the larger flat rocks where he's going to be able to maximize that traction. Beautifully done, man. Look at that. Whole time, even just up that, just trying to keep that foot on the peg. Oh, here comes Adam. That's a different line. See, there you go, and James said it. Adam kind of went to the outside here. So now he's in a tough spot. That's a good setup. He's going to have to really float that front here. Yeah, there you go. So, as you can see there, I mean, Adam had a good setup. I like where his front tire was. I like where his rear tire was, even though he didn't quite take the same line as James. But in that situation, I've said this before, you have to aim with your rear tire. Where do you want your rear to go, not where your front is? So Adam looked and said, if I can get my front tire to there, I should be good. And dropped his front, and the rear tire did not make it up on top of that rock. You have to aim with your rear tire. So Adam should have set up there and said, I need to get my rear to there. I need to get my rear at least to where my front was. His load should have been bigger. He should have drove a lot harder, and he should have really brought that front tire high to carry it further. Also, it looks like he took a line that a lot of riders took, right? You can see where James went, there was less dirt. Again, the main line isn't always the best line. And it seems Adam got sucked into that again. So now he's got something in front of his front tire, so he's not going to be able to push. Okay,
nothing
so
like when you have your
he's just lifting over to the same line that James was in. Gnarly. This is a gnarly section. Oof. It's a puzzle piece, you know, and puzzling this stuff together is so challenging, and it looks so easy when a pro does it. James gets through this section in, 15 seconds, whereas Adam is now, 2 minutes in and he's not even at 10 feet. And I'm telling you, Adam's a good rider.
He's back at it. We are back at it again.
Brutal. Can't quite tell where Adam's at. He looks like he's wedged in something here. There you go. Up on top. As soon as he's up on top, it's like great. And he's so quick to drop off of it, where I would stay up on top and plan my next line. You want to stay on top of those rocks. It's going to keep you out of the holes, or at least for you to be able to plan to be able to jump over the holes or float over the holes. right? That's a common mistake that I see riders do, especially in these boulder field situations. They get on top of the rock and then they just let their bike like drop into a hole, into the hole in front of them, instead of stopping on top and setting up and saying, okay, I need to make it to this one now. It's all about staying high. As soon as you get into a hole, you're in a hole. It's all you're going to do is spin and lift and fight, and you can see that's what Adam's doing.
That guy's very intrigued.
Guy in the truck wondering what Adam's doing. Tough situation, right? If he would have stayed on top of that rock, he would have been in a lot better of a situation. Tough. Okay. Now he's on a flat enough rock where, yeah, you could maybe pull your bike back.
What's in front of your front wheel? It's just a hole, right? Yeah. Okay, so try just getting traction in your rear, stuff your front into that hole since it's already in there, and it'll help slide your rear on top of the big rock that you're trying to get onto.
Get my front wheel on that.
Yeah. Even if you get it into the crack, but just focus. You might have to get into the crack, get your rear where your skid plate is, and then get your front out of the hole.
The hard part about getting his rear where the skid plate is see if he's spinning there. He's got enough to do it. If you lug it a little more, he's getting a lot of throttle, right? But in this situation, he can pull it back.
Go, go, go.
There you go. A little bit of back there helped. Gnarly section. You can see Adam is also very he's very revvy, right? So he's quick to release the clutch, whereas what he should do is really, really lug that bike down to the bottom. And I even listen to his bike right here. His bike is idling really high. So I would lower that idle. I'd want the bike to be on the edge of stalling. You always want to start, in my opinion, and especially in these situations, I will start with my clutch slipped just a little bit. Lugging that bike, I'm already initiating my movement. If I start with a little bit of slip on the clutch and a low throttle, you're going to find you're already initiating power to the rear tire. You're not moving, you're just holding it in one position, but you're already starting that movement. You're ready to make that move. Whereas Adam's very release and go, release and go. And clutch and throttle control is huge here. Learning how to lug. He needs that bike to be down into the nothing, the lowest possible RPM. And as you can see here, every time he's up in the high RPM, and that's just not where traction is found in these situations. See right there, I'd pull it back even a little more. He has room behind him. It's hard for me to watch. And it's no slight against Adam. Adam is a great rider. He's been doing all the hard enduro. I'm telling you guys, this is how most riders will approach this stuff. And I get after you if you're approaching it this way. There you go. Okay, set yourself up right there, Adam. Don't drop into that hole. Come on, buddy. There it is. Right there. You saw he was set up in the right position and immediately just let his bike fall down into that hole, and now he's spinning his tire. Right when I paused it, he's spinning his tire. Staying on top is going to allow you so much more momentum and control instead of dropping into those holes and fighting your way out of them. And again, this goes back to that lug. It's like he should be starting in a slight slip, a slight movement on that clutch where the clutch is slightly engaged and it's starting to transfer to the rear tire for movement. That way, he doesn't roll back and fall into a hole. And that's exactly what we just saw right there. Okay, now you're on top again, buddy. You got to get big momentum from here. And even there, I would have backed it up a little bit, pulled it onto that rock. Now he's back in the hole. This is just kind of the same thing over and over what we're seeing here. The hardest part for the average rider is learning how to stay on top of everything. Every average rider gets through this stuff by stopping in every hole because they're tired. As soon as they find the hole, they kind of stop and rest. Super brutal, super gnarly. Adam did a good job. He got through it, but like I said, there's a lot of changes that he could make. there. And one of the big ones is, again, clutch control, learning how to hold that bike in the slip, holding it in one position, staying above the rocks, trying to stay above the bike. As soon as you get fatigued, it's very hard to do that. That's a gnarly section.
All right, Adam, what did you think of that section?
It's rough. I got caught in all the holes.
A lot of holes to be caught in, for sure. I think key for that is definitely staying on top of them. And then in the situations where you do get stuck in them, I mean, there's a huge skill of getting out of them. So, Rich is better at breaking that down than I am. I'm not a great coach. I try, but still learning.
Crazy.
Well, James is better than doing it than I am. James is a beast. Yeah, that's a tough situation, man. You know, a lot of this stuff comes down to a big understanding on power delivery, right? We have to learn how to efficiently deliver power. And as you can see there, Adam was very, very spinny with that rear tire. And that often comes from being very direct with the power, whereas we need to kind of be using both forms, clutch and throttle together. That's a gnarly section, man. That was a lot of fun. I'm sure you guys enjoyed it. I love doing this Pro versus Joe stuff. It's so much fun. These episodes are rad because I think you guys get to see the differences in, first off, the average rider versus the top guys, but also the breakdowns of what you guys will be running into. Often these are the same mistakes that I see everybody make when I'm out teaching. So now I appreciate your guys' support of the channel. Make sure to follow James Flynn. Make sure to follow Adam Does Dirt Bikes. Follow us on Instagram at IRCMoto, my personal Instagram page at RichLarson511. And until next time, keep shredding.